Well, hello everybody. This is Dave Berkus for the BERKUS Report. And this week we're going to be talking about startups. What are your chances of success? Well, the numbers don't lie, even if there are several sources of these statistics. Starting a company is hard. You know, I read several years ago that the average startup restaurant lasts only about a year. Ouch. Here I am, a professional investor in early stage businesses, and I attempt to find those with the greatest chance of success. Well, I've got to tell you that restaurants would not be number one on my list. We have real years of data to look upon, data that impact both the investors and the entrepreneurs. For the last year we have, 2016 alone, there are two reliable sources of recent data for us to look at. The Angel Resource Institute said that 70% of all investments made by angel groups and venture capitalists don't reach break even. That is, the amount returned is the amount invested upon a sale or the closing of a business. The great majority of those are outright losses. The Tech Coast Angels, one of the largest angel groups in the United States, published its data also for 2016, showing that 68% of all of their investments plunged to less than the amount invested. Well, attempting to get to the number of real failures of all startups, not just those with angel investment groups, Fortune magazine published an article saying that 90% of all of those startups do fail. The U.S. Census Bureau gave us some statistics that are a little bit hard to understand. They said that each year, 400,000 new businesses are formed and 470,000 are dying. What does that mean? John Chambers, the former CEO of Cisco, stated that more than 1/3 of all businesses, not just startups, will fail. And that 1/3 will fail early on. And he stated that 1/3 will not survive their first 10 years. Well, that includes all businesses, not just startups, doesn't it? And Harvard University recently published a study that said that 3 out of 4 venture-backed startups fail. And the U.S. Labor Board, or Bureau of Labor Statistics, said that 50% of all businesses survive 5 years or more, and about 1/3 of them only last about 10 years. Well, the Small Business Administration, one more set of statistical claims here, said that 66% of new businesses survive their first 2 years and 50% fail during their first full year in business. Although these aren't parallel studies or similar statistics, most of them seem to refute the Fortune magazine claim that 90% of all startups fail. You might be interested in this data as viewed from the early stage investor's viewpoint. Again, quoting that ARI study that I quoted earlier, angel investors hold the average investment for 4.5 years. That's before they receive liquidity of one form or another. Now be careful, because that buries the real data. If you strip out the short-term company failures from that 4.5, you're going to find that the average years to liquidity is 8 or 9 years before an angel or a venture capitalist sees their money in a positive way out of an investment. Otherwise, you're completely illiquid. You don't have any return of any kind until that final return happens. Well, these early stage investors diversify into a lot of companies, and that helps. And if they're willing to wait long enough, it helps a lot. So the average annual returns for early stage investors who do go through all of this risk, the average annual return is 22%. And that is a lot more than what the market makes. But there is a statistic that this kind of buries, and that is that 22% annual return usually comes from about 3% of all the investments that have been made by those angels or venture capitalists. Whoa, starting up a company is risky, even investing in a young company. But the potential returns over time, as you can see, are very high, and it makes it very attractive for the angel investor and the venture capitalist. Oh, we hear of successes like Snap that make us all want to go out and jump and try and do our best to do the very same thing, even if the odds are as bad as they look here, and make it almost impossible to make a lot of money unless you hang in there for a long time and unless you invest in a lot of deals. Well, we are a cadre of optimists. That's unlikely to change. Entrepreneurs will always start new businesses. Angel investors will always finance many of them. We all look for the lottery win, don't we? And we hope to be rewarded over time. Well, this is my wish for you. If you're starting a business, if you run a business, may you be successful and may you have a great liquidity event someday in one way or another. If you're an angel investor or a venture capitalist, I wish you only the best, a lot of diversification, a lot of luck, and a lot of great returns. Well, all of these come from the books, Berkonomics and others that I've written over all of the years, and they're available on Amazon and other kinds of stores. And this is Dave Berkus for the Berkus Report for Eye on Business.